Today we're going to cover the installation process for a 1-turnbuckle zipline kit. Step 1. Setting up the tree saver kit. A tree saver kit includes a number of grooved nylon blocks for placing between the zipline cable and the surface of your tree trunk. This spreads the pressure of the cable to a larger area and creates no contact zones where nutrients and water can pass through the cambium layer of the tree unobstructed. A cam strap is also included to hold the blocks in place during the installation. To begin, thread the cam strap through each block as shown. Next, wrap the loaded cam strap around the tree near the desired anchor height, and pass the end of the strap back through the cam to complete the loop around the tree. Take out most of the slack, but leave just enough to allow for easy repositioning of the blocks. When the strap is positioned around the tree at the desired height, you'll finish the process by evenly distributing the blocks around the back 3/4 or so of the trunk and tighten the strap completely. Step 2. Prepping the hardware. A single turnbuckle setup will include a cable sling, 1 turnbuckle, a main length of cable with a loop on one end, cable clamps, and a turnbuckle backup kit. Start by removing the packaging and assembling the turnbuckle. The two ends of a turnbuckle are threaded in opposite directions, so be sure to match the direction of the rod threads to the internal threads of the body. These are typically indicated by an R for right-hand thread and an L for left hand. Prior to installation, the rods should be threaded in about an inch past the threads of the body. Finally, unspool the main cable across the entire span of the zipline. Spools and coils of cable should be rolled out to avoid twisting and potential kinking of the cable. Some accessories, including springs, stock blocks, and some trolleys, are difficult or impossible to install once the cable is up, so take a moment to put these on the cable while it's on the ground. Make sure the orientation of each piece is correct, but don't worry about positioning them until later. Step 3. Setting up the cable sling anchor. To assemble, first open one end of your turnbuckle by removing the pin from the jaw. Wrap the cable sling around the tree near the tree saver blocks and tie both end loops into the turnbuckle jaw, reinstalling and securing the pin. The cable sling end of the zipline should be installed first, but it doesn't matter whether it's on the uphill or downhill end of the line. In choosing which end to start with, consider that the sling and turnbuckle has a longer assembled length than the wrapped end, meaning the trolley will be stopped further away from the anchor. The sling end is also easier to install, so it can be helpful to install it on whichever end of the zipline is harder to access. Next, attach your main cable to the opposite end of the turnbuckle, removing and reinstalling the pin as before. Step 4. Hanging the cable. This step can be simplified greatly by the use of a tensioning kit, but short spans with small diameter cables can be installed with just an extra set of hands. One person will help pull the cable into position, while the other person installs the first cable clamp. Pull the cable across the span and wrap it around the second set of tree saver blocks, assembling a single cable clamp where the cable crosses over itself. The orientation of the cable clamp should have the U-bolt against the dead or turned back cable, and the saddle of the clamp should be against the live or weight-bearing cable. Before tightening, check to make sure the cable is positioned correctly in the tree saver blocks at both ends, and remove as much slack as possible from the zip line. Once tightened, the 2 remaining clamps should be installed with the same orientation and tightened down with a wrench. Step 5. Taking up the slack. Back at the turnbuckle end of the zip line, any remaining slack can be taken up by twisting the body of the turnbuckle in the direction that pulls the jaws closer together. There is no minimum amount of tension required, but the cable should be checked at the low point with the heaviest intended rider to make sure they will be held clear of the ground. Step 6. Tuning and cleanup. Once the cable has been tightened, a turnbuckle backup kit should be installed. A short length of cable is passed through the cable loops, or the jaws if space is limited, on each end of the turnbuckle and spliced into a continuous loop using 4 cable clamps. Clamp orientation follows the same logic with U-bolts against the dead cable and saddles against the live cable. However, in the case of a splice, there will be 2 clamps in each direction. Accessories may now be installed or repositioned on the cable to their specified locations. At this point, your zipline assembly is complete. Follow the weight and speed testing steps in your manual to ensure the endpoints are secure and rider speeds are acceptable for whatever brake method is in place. Adjustments to the endpoints can be made by relieving tension with the turnbuckle and tapping the tree saver blocks up or down with a rubber mallet. For a cleaner look, the cam straps may be removed from the tree saver blocks and extra cable may be cut off or coiled up and zip tied out of the way. If you have any questions about this process, please don't hesitate to reach out to us via our website or call us directly at 888-476-3701. You can also find lots of helpful articles about all of the topics covered in this video on the how-to section of our website.